It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report. I'm Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report, and every question that we're getting here on today's show came in while we went live on June 19th. So if anything changes from that time, don't yell at me. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. If you're trying to get some new workout supplements, code Raiders, 20% off at pandasupps.com. If you spend over $125, you're going to get free creatine and free U.S. shipping, so just please keep that in mind. Every question that you're about to see here was from that live show that I just discussed on June 19th, and also every question is from a subscriber on the Raiders Report. Let's go to the first one, and it's a big one. It's a bang from Mr. Roche. Alex Leatherwood, biggest bust since 2019. Personally, I put Leatherwood up there as the second biggest bust. I would say Cleveland Furrow was a bigger one, simply because he was drafted at number 4, and I get it. Furrow played for a little bit longer in the NFL and played a little bit longer for the Raiders, but I do think when you're drafted at 4 compared to when you're drafted at 17, you're just expected to contribute a little bit more, and because there were so many other players that the Raiders should have drafted ahead of him, like, I don't know, Brian Burns, that one stings a little bit. Let's go to Evil Mitch. What up, man? Shador, bro. What is he thinking? Wow. Yeah, Shador got caught going over the speed limit. He was driving fast. I'll just say this. I think I'm frustrated with Sanders because I want Shador to succeed in the NFL. I really do. And I wish he would kind of take what happened from the draft process, from being selected in the 5th round, and kind of would carry that with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. And he's just giving me, like, spoiled brat vibes this entire offseason. And I don't really know how else to put it besides that. Do I think the story itself probably got blown out of the water a little bit? Yeah. But as Chugs and I have said, when you are a player and you have that media attention, you're going to be under a microscope. And when you're under a microscope, it does mean more dollars. And I just wish he would just smarten up, Shador. I just want you to smarten up a little bit. Let's go to Richard Black here. My birthday is today, too. Big 52. Go out, sign Simmons. Still above average and veteran presence in the locker room. I completely agree. I did a show. For those of you that are watching, you can go check it out. It's going to be released on Thursday of why I think that the Raiders should go out and get Justin Simmons. He's got coaching connections. We have the money to do it. He can still play at a reliable, high, rate. Was good last season, and he is the best free safety on this team. For that reason, let's go out and get him. Got a question coming in here from Die Hard Raider. Mitch, Henry Ruggs said he would want to come back to the Raiders. What do you think? I knew today that I was going to get a Henry Ruggs question. So I already went ahead and I told Chugs, please get me the quotes. That way everybody could see the quotes around Henry Ruggs. I'll show you those here in just a moment, and I'll give you my answer on this if you didn't watch our live show before. Should the Raiders sign Henry Ruggs? Give me a yes, give me a no. My answer is going to be coming up right here after this YouTube ad break. So here's what Henry Ruggs said publicly on June 17th, and I'm going to go through this quote, and then I will give you my answer. I wish I could turn back the hands of time. I would love for them to meet the real Henry Ruggs and not the one that was escaping from something. I sincerely apologize for not only being a part of the situation, but the fact that my face is always in the news. My face is always in the newspaper, so that have to constantly be reminded of the situation and be reminded of me and see those memories have to continue to rise because of all the fan base and all the notoriety that I have, which I've never even asked for, I've never liked. I would just tell them that I am deeply apologized for just being a part of that, and I wish they could meet the real Henry Ruggs and not the one who was just running away from everything. So that's what Henry Ruggs had to say in regards to if he could talk to the Tinter family. I'll just say this in regards to Ruggs, and my stance does not change on this. And for me personally, I can never root for Henry Ruggs. If you guys want to root for him, I'm not going to get mad at you for that. Do I think that people deserve a second chance? Obviously I do. But I think Henry Ruggs not spending life behind bars is his second chance. I think if he does get an opportunity to play in the NFL, if it was up to me, I think he should have to donate some of his game checks to the Tinter family. But my number one stance is this. If the Tinter family has forgiven Henry Ruggs, who the F am I to say that he doesn't deserve to get another shot in the NFL? And who am I to say that he doesn't deserve a shot for the Raiders? I would be disappointed in the Raiders if they honestly brought him back because I just think it's not a good look for this organization. And I think it's a bad look for the NFL. But at the same time, if the Tinter family has said, no, we haven't forgiven him, and based on what Ruggs kind of said there in that quote, doesn't really sound like they have had any communication. And I don't blame the family because I wouldn't want to have any communication with them either. So if the family has forgiven him, I'm okay with him getting another shot. If the family hasn't forgiven him, then yeah, I don't think he deserves to play in the NFL again. Let's go to Steven Stottgarten. You're next up here on the show. I hope we extend the contracts from Jacoby and Miller before training camp. Yeah, I hope so too. I saw a few guys, I don't remember if it was Carpenter or Bonsignor, one of the Raiders beat writers, was kind of making it seem like the Raiders fans should be worried about Colt Miller not getting an extension yet. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not worried in the slightest, and I don't want to say that Colton's not either, but I think Colton's just really confident in his own ability. He's confident that this organization is going to do right by him. But I was hoping that this deal would have been done, and both of these deals would have been done by mandatory minicamp. I think at this point, you got to hope that it's done by training camp, and I just hope that the Raiders do right by both of those players. But here's the other part. If Miller and Jacoby are willing to play on those one-year deals because they know that they're going to get paid, and maybe they're thinking, hey, I could hit the open market for the final time in my career, and I could get more money. I think it's an interesting situation, but if it was up to me, I would want to tie those guys with Pete Carroll, John Spytek, Max Crosby, Adam Butler, Geno Smith. Let's go to Freddie Roybal. Did the Ravens get better signing Alexander? Absolutely, they did. And I think a team like the Baltimore Ravens is smart to go out and get Jair. You got to give a lot of credit to the Ravens for kind of keeping that one under wraps because Jair Alexander was in the building, signed the contract, and then the breaking news ended up coming out. In today's day and age, that type of shit doesn't happen. Now, I'm recording this video on Thursday, and I need you to keep that in mind because I got some really big information, and it's going to be some big breaking news. I'm going to put that video out on Friday. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's going to be something that you're not going to want to miss. I promise you that. But I also think there is certain things that teams are able to keep away from other teams and keep away from the media, just like the Ravens did. But I also think Jair going to Baltimore, his connection with Lamar Jackson, it's a great fit because he's going to be motivated. He's going to go out and do his thing, and they got him for $6 million. If you would have told me Jair Alexander was going to cost $6 million, I would have made a lot different shows. I would have said, let's go get freaking Jair Alexander. If you're looking for more mailbags because you appreciate the back and forth that we have here on this YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure those notifications are turned on. Let's go to LV for life. What up, man? What would have to happen for the Raiders to bench Geno this season? An injury? I actually don't think that there is a realm of possibility. Well, I guess that's not true. I mean, if the Raiders haven't won a game by the bye week, right? So bye week's week 8. If the Raiders lose to the Patriots, you lose to the Chargers, the Commanders, the Bears, Colts, Titans, Chiefs, and you start out 0-7, I think that then there will be a discussion around whether or not they should bench him. But I think also, though, the Raiders know what the type of contract they gave Geno, and I think they want to just allow him to continue to do his thing. The other problem is, though, you bench a guy because you're hopeful that the guy behind him is better. It's not a disrespect to Aidan O'Connell. It's just, again, it's not even in the same realm of possibility. I would say people who think that Aidan O'Connell is going to replace Geno Smith probably also think that Sincere McCormick is going to replace Ashton Genty. Though Geno's not Ashton Genty. I'll say that. Let's go to Luis Ra. What's up, my man? It's good to see you again. Mitch, where do you think our O-line lands out of the 32 teams? I think you have to look at it actually in two different ways. I think you can look at it from a starter standpoint where the Raiders starting offensive line right now, I would say Colt Miller, Dylan Parham, JPJ, Alex Kappa, DJ Glaze. To me, that's probably like the 16th, 17th best offensive line in the National Football League. Brand new offensive line, brand new OC, a lot of guys that are still getting some chemistry in. But in terms of overall depth, I think the Raiders do have maybe the 12th, 13th best O-line because I do have confidence in Jordan Meredith. I do really love the fact that the Raiders are putting Thayer Munford at guard. I also know that I like Charles Grant, and I like somebody along the lines of, my Lord, Charles Grant and Caleb Rogers, where we have good, solid depth. And I don't think we're going to get an opportunity where if one of our offensive linemen goes down, we're going to oh, shit, this guy stinks. I think we legitimately have 8 solid offensive linemen, which not every single NFL team can say. We got more questions coming up here in just a moment. And if you want to be able to pick me up like Luis picks up, I'm hoping that's your kid, Luis. If you're just picking up random kids, I wouldn't put a picture around it. But if you want to be able to pick me up that easily, go get some muscles with Panda Supps. PandaSupps.com. Use code Raiders for 20% off. They got some brand new protein. Chugs, can you give me that horn? Because I don't know about you, I am fired up for some Panda Supps brand new protein. And I think you guys will be too. We got peanut butter cookies, chocolate brownie whip, toasted honey graham, 25 grams of protein, 100% pure whey isolate, 0 grams of sugar, 110 to 120 calories per scoop. And for a limited time, when you spend $125, you're going to get free creatine and free shipping. Treat yourself to the same delicious, high-quality fuel that you're obsessed with from Panda Supps. Now in 3 amazing new flavors, and it's that all-new ISO protein. Panda Supps Fuel ISO Premium Protein, fast-absorbing. When you're getting a workout in, you want to get the most out of your workout, and this protein is what I am really going to try to get my hands on before my honeymoon. Let's go to Rebel Montana. Restructure Wilkins' contract if he's unable to play. I don't think that this is actually an impossible thing, and this is going to be something that obviously the Raiders are going to monitor very closely. And when it comes to Wilkins, the hope is that he's going to be able to play this season. But there's been a lot of rumors, there's been a lot of speculation of how healthy, that foot is. And I've been putting out a lot of videos around, the health of him. And it's going to be one of those things that we're going to have to monitor, and we'll see what ends up happening. But I am nervous about the Christian Wilkins situation. I'll tell you that right now. What up, Righteous Rancor? Are you more excited for Ashton Jeanty or year 2 of Brock Bowers? I am more excited for Ashton Jeanty because I've already seen it from Brock, and I already know what Brock can be. I'll be real with you. I don't know if Bowers is going to put up the numbers that he did from like a fantasy football standpoint last season. I don't know if he's going to do that again this year because I just think we have more mouths to feed. But I'm excited to see Jeanty because I do really think that he can be a top 5 running back in the NFL. And when you combine Jeanty, when you combine Brock Bowers, I'm excited to watch JPJ. But I'll go with Jeanty. But it's a good problem to have. I think we can all agree on that. Let's go to Silver and Blacked Out. I love this name, and I don't know if you made it because of me. Would you sign Keenan Allen if it's super cheap? Heard the rookie wide receiver have looked good. The reason why I actually don't know if Keenan Allen is on the Raiders' radar is because of how good the receivers have looked for the Silver and Black. Trey Tucker has taken a step forward, and I'm telling y'all right now, I have heard from multiple Raiders players, and I've covered it this offseason, Trey Tucker looks like he's taken that next step. And I'm hoping that Tucker turns into like a Tyler Lockett type of player. Then Dante Thornton Jr. he looks like we might have got one. And I don't want to jinx it because I'm like super nervous about it. But if Dante Thornton Jr. pans out and turns out to be a guy that some of these people that I talk to are telling me this guy's the real deal, that excites me a lot. They like Tommy a lot. You got Jacoby Myers. I would say at this point, if the Raiders went out and signed Keenan Allen, it might tell me a little bit more about what they think long-term for somebody like Jacoby Myers, because Allen does have a lot of those coaching connections with the Raiders wide receiver coach, Chris Beatty, because they spent multiple years together in Chicago and with the Chargers. Let's go to Emmanuel Sanchez. What's up, my man? Has AB been caught? It's fun. I shouldn't say it's funny. I shouldn't say that. We were talking about this at Chat Sports today, and we're like, is AB on the run? Sounds like AB's on the run. And it's been a while since I've been able to say FAB, but I mean this. I am forever FAB. I think the world would be Twitter might be a little bit more of a sad place without the account, but I think the world would be a much better and safer place if he was caught. Let's go to Raider Nation for Life XX. I saw the UFL video. What about Deandre Baker? So yesterday I did a video around some potential UFL targets for Las Vegas, and I just did it like based on team needs. And 2 names that people were like, Mitch, I didn't see Damon Arnett's name in there. Mitch, I didn't see DeAndre Baker's name in there. Here's my question to you, because I like this one a lot. Should the Raiders go out and sign DeAndre Baker? Type S for sign, type P for pass. You're going to get hit with another YouTube ad break while that ad is playing. Scrolling down, give me your answer. I'm going to give you mine here in just a moment. The reason why I'll say pass on Baker is just because of the drama. Now, there is a coaching connection, and I don't know if you're asking this question because you know that coaching connection or you recognize DeAndre Baker, Kansas City Chiefs, and he had a good year this past year in the UFL. What's interesting is Baker was a draft pick by Patrick Graham when he was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. So PG obviously saw something in Baker coming out of Georgia, and they were like, hey, this is a guy that we like a lot. He's just a little bit of a knucklehead. And I would say that if you are against the idea of getting Damon Arnett, you should also be against the idea of getting Deandre Baker. Personally, I'll say pass. Let's go to Caleb Tarr. Which defense will be tougher for Geno, Genty, and our wide receivers to beat this year? I think this is actually an old question, but we'll go with it. Chiefs, Chargers, or Denver? So I think that Denver is just the best overall defense. So because of that, I'll say the Broncos. And then I do think that the Chargers and Chiefs, I could split hairs on both of these guys. But I'll just go with, because Pete Carroll has owned Harbaugh in his career, I believe. Give me Denver, Kansas City, and then the Chargers. Let's go to Dalroy Rogers. I was for a Ruggs return before I saw his comment. Ruggs' remorse was too self-centered. Not enough remorse for victims' family. Keep out of the NFL. You know, I don't want to pick apart the quote. I just look at it as it's a really unfortunate situation, and I can't imagine how guilty he does feel. I literally can't imagine it. But I think when you talk about the Henry Ruggs situation, I literally think it comes down to as simple as, if the Tinter family is okay with him playing in the NFL, who the F are we to say that he doesn't deserve another shot? If the Tinter family says, no, I don't think Henry Ruggs deserves to be in the NFL again, I'm not going to disagree with them for that. Because if I lost a family member the way that they did, I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like I would feel the exact same damn way. Let's go to Patrick Roche. What's up, my man? What is our next deadliest spot on defense to fill? Maybe Jonathan Abram is the biggest bust. Abram definitely cracks my top 5, no doubt about it. When you're drafted 27th overall, and I think the biggest thing that he contributed to the Raiders was he called salmon or salmon. That was literally it from Hard Knocks. I think that free safety is the biggest need for this team, and I just think in general, like, the secondary needs some help. Whether that be nickel, whether that, just be a safety. Because to me, if the Raiders wanted to go about a way of finding a nickel back a little bit easier, you go out and you get a guy like Justin Simmons, let him play free safety, and then you allow Isaiah Palamau to play like that versatile safety role, and that's like the role that I want Palamau to play. Like, I don't want him to be dropping back as our center fielder. I think the best value that you're going to get from Palamau is when he is near the box, when he's kind of playing in that nickel, and he can do a lot of different things, versatility. And like, that to me is a lot better of defense, where if you told me it's Eric Stokes, Darian Porter, Paul Maus playing this nickel safety role that Patrick Graham has done such a great job of his entire career, you let Justin Simmons play free safety, you let Jeremy Chin play strong safety, like, that is a defense that I think is much better than what we currently have right now. Like, right now I think the Raiders have probably a bottom, I don't want to say bottom 10 defense, but they're probably around a bottom 10 defense because of that secondary. I think we have an elite defensive line when healthy. But our secondary is concerning, and I'm just telling you that right now. It's concerning. And I don't want this to be like, oh, you're just hating. It kind of reminds me a little bit where Raiders fans were hopeful that Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew, we were hoping that those quarterbacks were going to be enough to get it done because we had such a good defense. I look at that, hopeful blinders on, is very similar to this Raiders secondary right now, where you look at it on paper and you're going, I don't know how the hell this secondary is going to be able to get it done. And I don't really want to put on my blinders again this season. If I did not get to your question, I apologize. Blame Chugs. You can always hit me up on IG or on Twitter. I'm at Mitchell Renz 365, and I mean this. Please, 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 if I do not get to your questions in the offseason, I do get a little bit more of extra time this part of the year to go through and look at DMs.